Are you serious? Oh my God.
Well, it's August 21st, and we're headed out to North Dakota for the first time this year. It's actually my first out-of-state hunt this year, but we're headed out there to do some scouting this weekend. The other guys are going to set up their normal spots, and then me, Hunter, Brandon, and I think Mike might come with us, and we're going to do some scouting, trying to pick up 4 or 5 different spots that we might think are good for the season, and set some cameras out. We officially made this our 4th spot now. It kind of sets up pretty good, especially for a north wind. The wind will pretty much be blowing out into this bean field. Looks like a pretty decent spot, and we'll see what we get on camera in 2 weeks. We found a bunch of different spots. I think we got a total of 5 set up. Yeah, I mean, it's gonna be, you know, we're just gonna go with the flow and see what happens out here. I mean, a bunch of new spots that you guys really haven't hunted at all. So in 2 weeks, hopefully there's a couple good spots out of the 5. Well, it is September 3rd, and me and Brandon are finally headed out to North Dakota. We're kind of the end of the train headed out there today, but we left probably an hour and a half ago. It says our estimated arrival time is 3 a.m. so it's going to be a long ride yet. We've got about probably 7.5 hours. Me and Rand just got to Dakota. I think the other guys are probably sound asleep already. We're going to leave most of our stuff in the truck and get in there, get a couple hours of sleep, and then we'll be up in the morning to check the cameras and hopefully got some good news then. Well, it is 11:30, and we just got done grabbing all the cards from the cameras. We looked at like 2 of them so far, and we're quite impressed. There's quite a bit of shooters on the cameras. One of them, the gravel pit spot, it looks like a lot of the bucks are kind of at night. Overall, super impressed. Like I said before, I just wanted roughly like 2 spots where we had some decent bucks, and it's looking like we'll have more than 2 spots. So we're gonna go back to the cabin, grab a bite to eat, shoot our bows, and hopefully be out this afternoon.
You gotta try letting it down.
Or night, you know, like when it's like that 50 degrees, like.
You look greasy. Well, it's about 4:45, 10 to 5. Me and Rand are finally all set up in the tree. This is a pretty sweet setup, actually. Straight to the north of us is a big alfalfa field, and actually in North Dakota what we've been finding is there isn't a ton of alfalfa out here. We've got a northwest wind tonight, so it's actually blowing out into this cut wheat field, which sets up pretty good. We've got a lot of nice shooters on camera here. I think there's 3 bucks I would definitely shoot that were here last night. Hopefully the temps kind of start cooling down a little bit as the night goes along, and maybe get them on their feet early enough to get over here, and hopefully get one done on the first night. Well, it is almost 7 o'clock here. It's been pretty slow. We actually saw a doe way out there probably an hour ago or so, but that's kind of what we've expected. The deer that have been coming into this spot have mainly been coming in at night, right before dark. So we've got probably an hour and a half or so left. So hopefully we start seeing activity pick up within a half hour, 45 minutes here.
breakfast champions right there. We got onion, mushroom, turkey bacon, broccoli. And we're gonna smother it with some eggs.
Day 2 in North Dakota. Me and Brandon are going to a spot tonight that we call Space Station. And uniquely enough, we have a buck out here that he's kind of crazy. It looks like he's got almost 2 beams on each side of his rack. So we're gonna name him ET. He's kind of all messed up. So tonight the wind kind of sets up pretty perfectly. It's but pretty much blowing away from the marsh and where he would be bedding and where he's been looking like he's coming from. I think we got a really good chance of killing this buck tonight. I'm a little disappointed tonight. We're kind of overlooking this pretty big marsh and grass area, and all we saw tonight was one little buck that kind of came in and actually came like right under our stand. But other than that, I saw one doe way out in the marsh, and nothing else really, which was kind of surprising, but no sight of ET as well. So, well, me and Brandon are probably gonna pack her up here real soon and head back to camp and get some grub and give another shot tomorrow. Well, it's roughly 5 o'clock now, and me and Rand got all set up in the stand. We got in here right away and we pulled the card, and the first thing we did when we got in the stand was check it, and it's a pretty good sign. 2 nights ago when we were in here about 9:30, 10 o'clock at night, there were bucks in here again. All day yesterday there were bucks in here in the evening. So I think we have a really good shot of seeing a decent buck tonight. The only downfall is that it is pretty windy. It's a buck. That's that Velvet 8. Well, me and Rand just got back to Dakota, and we had a pretty eventful night tonight, despite kind of the weather. We actually saw it was roughly, I think, a 15-inch 8 in Velvet tonight. I think it was one of the bucks that we actually had on camera in there. But he chased some does out into this bean field on the opposite side of the marsh, ran through the marsh, came all the way up close to us, probably 70-80 yards or so, kind of on the edge of the wheat field, and then he kind of angled away from us through the wheat field and then took off running again through the wheat field, back through the marsh and back to that bean field on the opposite side of the marsh. Overall, it was an awesome sit, and kind of got me jacked up to continue hunting out here. We've got a cold front coming in tonight. I think it should be an awesome day tomorrow, and I can't wait to get back out. What are we having tonight, Rand?
Bacon wrapped snow geese.
Well, it is 3:10. It's day 4 in North Dakota, and Brandon and I are headed out for tonight's sit. It's a spot we call the gravel pit. We've got some of our biggest bucks on camera here. The one downside to that is that it's mostly been at night, mostly night pictures. I think the earliest was like roughly 9:30. So the reason we're going in today is because the cold front just came through. It dropped roughly 20 degrees. This cold front should get those deer on their feet. I'm hoping a little earlier, at least in daylight. I'm super jacked, and we're gonna get to the stand, and we gotta hang a set yet and get in there quietly and get ready to go.
It is roughly 4:45 and me and Rand are all set up in the stand tonight. We've got 4 to 5 really nice shooters in here. How this kind of sets up is there's like 4 marshes all around this area, 2 kind of in front of us and 2 behind us. So we're not exactly sure where these deer are bedding yet or not, but hopefully they kind of work in through this area. We've been getting a lot of deer walking this fence line that we're sitting on, and we're just basically in a little patch of 2 trees. So it's a really good area. We just need the deer to cooperate and move earlier in the night and during shooting hours.
Me and Rand just got back to Dakota. We had a really good sit tonight. The cold front kind of got the deer up on their feet moving like we expected. And right around 8 o'clock, another big buck came out of the marsh to the northwest. And he pretty much came, it looked like he was gonna come like right on a rope, right to our tree, but he got between like 60 and 70 yards, I'd say, and kind of crossed the fence line and went by the other deer on the other side of the fence line. Overall, it was a good hunt. It was exciting. I was shaking like a leaf in the tree. But we've got 3 more days left. We've got another north wind tomorrow, so I'm not exactly sure what our plan is yet, but hopefully at some point in these 3 days to get back to that spot and give it one last shot.
All set up in the stand. We've been in the stand probably for a half hour already. It's a pretty awesome night actually tonight. We've got pretty much a straight north wind. So what we've kind of learned over the last couple hunts is that these deer tend to move out of this marsh and kind of work their way up towards this alfalfa field and into this woods towards the end of the night, because actually on the other side of this woods is a bean field, so it's a good funneling area from the marsh to the bean field. But we've already seen 3 does way on the other side of the marsh in a bean field. I expect the deer to move pretty early today. See him? I think he's definitely gonna work this way. He's walking this way. on, buddy. Go down.
Absolutely.
Come on, buddy. Oh my god, dude. That has to be one of the most stressful hunts I've ever been on.
We got the one you wanted the whole time.
I know.
Yep. Gotta be right over this hill somewhere. Oh!
There he is. Our 5th day in North Dakota, and me and Rand finally got it done. Coming out to North Dakota for my first out-of-state hunt, you know, I didn't really know what to expect. We had scouted this, found 5 different spots that we thought might be potential spots, and I couldn't have been more thankful for what we had on camera. I mean, we've got 3 spots with some studs on it, and it kind of, you know, all came together. And I would like to thank Rand too. Rand came with me and came out and filmed me these last 5 days, and you know, we kind of put a little grind together and got it done. And you know, I have one more big thank you, and that's to the Breaking Point guys for, you know, bringing us on this year and really accepting us and letting us stay at Dakota and you know, making us really feel as a part of the group. So I couldn't ask for a better first out-of-state hunt. Finally get the honors to pound in my broadhead from the other night. We don't have a hammer, so we're gonna try to use a hitch.
How greasy my hair was.
Pretty greasy.
Well, it's a little before 5 now, and Dylan and I have been set up for probably a good half hour, 45 minutes. We're in the spot we call a gravel pit. We were here 2 nights ago, I think it was, and we had a really good encounter with a buck that's been on this trail camera pretty much every day of the week that we've been out here so far. He just kind of walked out of range and never gave us an opportunity, but he was back in here that night, that same night, in the middle of the night, with a couple other big bucks that we have on here. They're bedded off to the south of us, and we got a south wind pushing, you know, away from them, so the wind is perfect. They've been walking through here roughly at like 8:30, right around that sunset time, so we got a high pressure day, so hopefully that gets them up on their feet a little earlier and come through on this fence line. Well, it's September 10th, about 4:45 now. Me and Dylan just got set up in the spot that we've been calling Space Station. It's our last day of the trip out here, so it's kind of just a last-ditch effort. Last night we sat at the gravel pit and had kind of a bust of a hunt. Didn't see a whole lot of deer, just a couple of small bucks and does, so we figured we'd give this spot a try. Just gonna kind of sit tight and see what happens. It's about 5:10 after 8. We probably got about 15-20 minutes of light left, I think. It's been a decent night. The weather's been perfect for it. It's about 75 when we got in tonight, and it's got to be down to probably the low 50s now. It feels pretty nice out here. We had a decent night. Saw 4 or 5 does, I think. A couple came working through, but no sign of ET or any other bucks that we had on camera. Like I said, we have about 15 minutes yet, and hopefully he kind of sneaks through here. Some of the does have kind of snuck up on us, so hopefully he does that in the next 15-20 minutes, but otherwise it's going to be a wrap for our first week out in North Dakota. He's coming down the fence line. He's coming right down this trail. That looked good today.
Yeah, I think it did.
Let's go. I seen him stop up there. But I don't know, like, if he fell, it looked like he kicked pretty good. There's a lot of bubbles. Definitely hit along, I think. Right there he is, dude. Let's go.
Right on, bud. Oh, hell yeah, man. Well, here he is. He probably only went 200, 250 yards from actually the stand. He really opened up there at the end. It was pretty easy to follow him through this grass. The exit wound ended up being perfect. We were a little worried that the shot placement was going to be far back. The night itself, it was kind of slow. We only saw a couple does, and then right at the last 20 minutes of daylight, we watched him and a small buck get out of their beds right in the marsh behind me, and they just kind of worked up against that fence line that we're sitting on the edge of the bean field, and he gave me a perfect 15, 20 yard shot. So it was pretty awesome. What a way to wrap up North Dakota, with Dylan being able to take his buck 2 days ago and then being able to come home with this thing on our last night. Couldn't ask for anything but better. So we're gonna get him cleaned up. Got a long night ahead of us. We're gonna quarter him out, get him washed up and thrown in the freezer, and then we're gonna be heading back to Wisconsin tomorrow morning. Probably try to get in the truck by 6:37 so we can be back at the cabin tomorrow by 6:30 or 7 for the Wisconsin season that opens Saturday.